I was born in Nazareth, and I came to know the hospital well. My father, my late father, he started to work here at the hospital in 1965 as a carpenter.
I was born and raised in the UK, in the north, a little place called Milnrow, but nobody will know it. So I spent most of my life there until I decided to go to university in Aberystwyth. So right in the middle of Wales. What I didn't know was what was going to happen when I got there, and part of that was meeting the man who became my husband. Now, he happened to come from Nazareth, and I'd never in my life thought that I would travel even probably one county away from home, never mind a country away from home. But it became clear very quickly that this was the right thing. At least I understood that.
So as a child, I used to come here to the hospital. After I finished school, my father, he spoke with Dr. Bernard that I come to work at the hospital. So I started working in 1979. And each doctor, he came with a mission, is the gospel. And they used to come to pray to the patients, but because of the language, they were asking help from different of our local staff. Then later on, they asked me if I can translate. I said, it's for me difficult. English is my third language. But with the help of Salim Nassar and Pastor Zai, I used to translate for Dr. Bernard and other doctors.
We used to come along together to the chapel services Sunday evenings. We got to know all the volunteers and the overseas staff that were working here at the hospital, and bit by bit a job came up. When the SERVE program started, that was something I felt was very much a natural fit for me. It seemed to be that I was helping people to basically replicate my journey in some way, to adapt from one culture from the West and to adapt into an Eastern culture and to find their place within it. So that was one of my favourite parts of being part of the SERVE program, was just to take time with the volunteers to see what God is doing, how He's calling them, how He's speaking to them, what He's challenging them about.
We used to have what is called kawush. Kawush is a big room of 12, 13 beds, not like today at that time. All the patients, then the doctor will come and stand and read Bible readings and I will translate. The hospital started to have local doctors, many missionaries, and came conclusion that the hospital, they need a local chaplain, and they brought one at the hospital, and then they asked me if I like to have a Bible training. So in 1991, I went with my wife and my children to Bethlehem to have a Bible training and came back to help here at the hospital, visiting patients, distributing Bibles, and helping in the chapel. As I said, the ministry here is back many years and been started with people from overseas.
Yeah, my name is Lawrence and I'm one of the coordinators of the pastoral care team here in Nazareth. When I was 19 years old, I moved to Israel for the first time and I served in the ministry up north for almost 3 years. Always with a desire to come back to the Middle East. And that opportunity arose back in 2013 and I worked for 3 years in the West Bank. I moved to Belgium to study theology and religious studies. That's when I met my lovely wife.
My name is Rebecca. I was born in the Netherlands, in Holland, in a town called Alkmaar, close to Amsterdam. I'm 31 years old. I'm married. For most part of my life I lived in the Netherlands, but I moved to Brussels, Belgium, when I was early 20s.
And it was especially during this time that we started to think if God was calling us back to the Middle East. We started to pray about it. We came to Israel to visit different ministries and we met Frank here in one of the offices and he shared with us about the vision of the Nazareth Trust and we got very excited, especially Rebecca, my wife. She walked through Nazareth and she said, I feel this is my home. And I said, that's a good sign that this is what the Lord was calling us to do. And we arrived in January 2020 to come and join the pastoral care team here in Nazareth.
My name is Frank Cantor. I'm the spiritual director of the Nazareth Trust. A little bit about my life's journey. I'm married to Valerie. We are from South Africa, and it was a journey of real faith, and by God's grace I came, although I don't speak Arabic. I've learned a lot about the Arab culture in my 5 years that I've been here in Nazareth. The last 9 months in the hospital during the coronavirus pandemic has been a very challenging time for pastoral care, but also one of great opportunities as we were invited by the leadership to offer intensive spiritual care to staff, especially in our acute care departments. But what God really enabled to happen in this time was for a team to come together of staff and then also long-term volunteers to offer this ministry of prayer and presence to people in the hospital, particularly our staff at this time, because they've been at the front line, because we realized quite soon that it wasn't only acute care departments that needed spiritual support and prayer, but all of the support services, from our maintenance to cleaning staff to archives and all our administration staff, to just offer a listening ear, to listen to staff's concerns during this time, to offer prayer to those who would like that. This week, for instance, we are praying for the entire hospital, and so we have put out a prayer for the hospital staff, the management, that God will give them wisdom and grace in this time.
It came a period that I go to the departments, all were empty, no visitors are allowed to come.
Things changed a lot. Initially, of course, no volunteers. Nobody can travel. All our volunteers went home. We closed the program. And it became very clear that it was something that felt very close to my heart, that I wanted to be with people when they couldn't have their usual kind of support.
It's been a great blessing to see how the offer of prayer has been received by people we would not always have expected.
One of the challenges that we have faced over the last 9 months is to be able to constantly adjust to the situation.
I think one of the other challenges is that what we're doing now is really something different. And it's the first time that we are building these relationships with staff to this extent, that they really expect our visit and that they really know who we are, why we're coming. And this is something really special.
Our patients are different faiths, 70-80% even more were Muslims, Christians, different denominations, and also some Jews.
So in a religiously diverse environment, how do we provide pastoral care? Well, I think we are guided first of all by our Christian identity, our Christian values.
Here we felt the love of God. God is the healer, and the international language is not English or Arabic or any other, but the main international language that people all understand it is the language of love.
We encounter so many different cultures and religions here in this city. And so as I walk around in the hospital and I talk to Muslims and I talk to Christians and I talk to Jews and I even talk to Druze, I'm learning so much from their life stories, that how they view the world. And just listening to them really enriches my life and my understanding of how the world works.
The key to how we offer pastoral care, it's to be attentive to where people are at, what the spiritual needs are that are being expressed, whether it's anxiety about COVID or about family members. And we are to always be ready to share with respect and with dignity the hope that we have within us.
For us, we are chaplains for everyone. Everyone who needs our help, we will go. We don't ask what's your faith, what you believe or what you don't believe. We just come. We welcome us. We can sit and talk. At the end, if he or she wants a prayer, we pray. We are the followers of Jesus Christ. We have the joy and we have the love that we can share it with everyone. تكن معنا